G-Funk, y'all. What's going on, y'all? We haven't been live in like a week. That's on purpose. Welcome in, Annette. Oh my God. Nice intro. Fucking AI. I was fooling around with the command prompts. That's the best I could come up with yesterday. Or it could come up for me. Oh, Amanda, what's going on? Listen. Have you guys taken in all of this Janie McKenzie Facebook claim tape? It's like 2.5 hours. It's all of the statements that she's made, all of these claims that she's made, and there's all kinds of things in there that I hadn't heard before. I hadn't sat down and listened to the entire thing, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's because I can't stand the sound of her voice. And that's my bias speaking. Maybe you love it. Maybe you just love Janie's cadence. Maybe you just can't wait to hear more of Janie's voice. But somehow I doubt it. There'll be somebody. Maybe Earl. Old Earl down there is rekindling his love for the old lady. They're going to get back together. That's going to be the next big drop. Man, oh man. We're here today and we're going to speak on Janie, but of course there's all kinds of other things that are going on as well. Have you been following the Emanuel Harlo case? Dolly from Dolly Vision is down there. He flew over from Virginia yesterday on his birthday. Happy birthday, Dolly. I think he's like 67 now. Might be 66. The old son of a bitch. But he's out there in this rented Nissan Altima in the front meeting all kinds of different people. That's my favorite part about it, is watching the randomness. Watching the random individuals pull up and do their thing. All kinds of, historically, when that's happened, all kinds of new, let's say, possibilities for collaborations have occurred. Now, let me just remind you about the examples. If you remember way back in the Gabby Petito case, there outside was Bullhorn Betty, JLR, Jonathan Lee Riches, Molly Golightly, White Boy Lockdown Radio, and probably somebody else that I'm missing. And the hilarity that ensued after that was unparalleled at the time. Not that I endorse that sort of crazy shenanigans, but the storylines and things that happened after that, many of you were wrapped up in and are fully aware of. I don't want to say that they're good or bad. It's up to you, I guess. Maybe you liked it. Dolly is on the case. Oh, shit. I enjoy it. I enjoy it when somebody goes boots on the ground in that circumstance. It makes their content so much more valuable. Now, the trick is not getting carried away, right? Like, the last one Dolly did that I was watching, excuse me, I'm thinking slow because I'm going from my memory and I just smoked a big doob, was in Savannah, Georgia with Leilani Simon. And, yeah, that got out of hand a little bit, but the worst thing I think that happened from it, if I can remember, is that there was a poor guy on his deathbed, you know, and none of this had anything to do with Dolly himself. It was just what had happened, the circus that ensued. He's on his deathbed, and they had to relocate him because of the noise, and there's another autistic child that was being disturbed. They're disturbing the neighbors, disturbing the peace. You don't have that problem here with Emanuel Harlo. A couple tweakers came out of nowhere and burned down the house. What the fuck? Shit is crazy. Like, there's so many cameras and shit out there, and this guy's filming away, and he has these two people, come onto the property, light the fire underneath the RV in the back, and next thing you know, this place was up like a tinderbox. People just love that sort of content. Completely random. I don't know if it has anything to do with anything other than it's the sign of the times in the area. Like, that seems to be fairly common. But yeah, it's a little bit bizarre that it happened so close, but I don't know. We don't have any reason that I know of to think that it's connected. What's going on, Norbeaster? You're hungover? What a friggin' zoo that was at the laundry house. Yeah, it was, Needy. I was kind of thinking, I wonder about what's going to happen in this circumstance, because there's so many different randos. I think Dolly ran away from a couple of the randos yesterday. It was tough because you can only do so much. He's got his car running, and of course your phone makes all of this heat. You should have got a GoPro or something. Just keep the phone in the car, plugged in the air conditioning, out with the GoPro, and you just have to connect to your phone in that sense. It would have been fantastic. But no buts. It ended up all right. He was up and down. It was very, very hot. Nothing really exciting happened. They say that they're holed up in that house. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just going off of my memory. Right now, it's probably different. I've been watching it up. JLR has been updating it. They're awaiting arrests at any point in time. All of the local news agents are out and in their cars in the air conditioning. It's probably why they're all in their cars, because it's so god darn hot. I don't blame them. Didn't Dolly get set to the clink in one of these crazy excursions, Nene says? I don't know. I don't think so. That's more Doug Hutton style. Doug Hutton is all for having a reason for you to donate money to pay for his bail. That's old. That's old, though. That really hasn't been like that in damn near 10 years. This would be right up Doug Hutton's in his neighborhood anyway. It's out near Riverside, isn't it? California. Mind you, that's considering if he's still in where is that? Lancaster. None of your business. He's got all that shite. He needs PJ. He's probably left so fast he forgot about it. Well, I think the old lady kicked him out for his birthday. She got rid of him so she could have a nice quiet house to herself, and he could go do his thing and focus. He's got thousands of people in there in that live stream. That's pretty good. That's all the reason in the world to get out there and do it. Should do that more often. He probably wants to in that sense. Who was the streamer going off on the neighbor, Drippy? In which situation? Are you talking about like in the last couple of days? Was there a confrontation? I hope not. It always sucks for the neighbors in these circumstances. Yeah, it's first of all this whole shiner, this girl getting the shiner after somebody walked up behind her and said hola. She gets on the news and tells everybody this cockamamie story under duress, probably, that this rando came out and kidnapped her baby, because that happens. Although, I mean, you can never sell that completely as impossible. But the shiner that she had didn't look like a shiner at all. It looked like it was already half healing, and it was a little black under there. You know when you get hit in the eye? You ever been punched hard? I've punched myself a couple times. You know, ladies, when the door hits you. No, I'm kidding. That's not even funny to joke like that. But when you get a genuine shiner, like from somebody's physical punch, a lot of things happen before it swells shut, if it does, or it turns black. The black part is usually looks a lot worse, and it's on the heel, right? So she wants to put forth that this just occurred when it was happening. It stood out like a sore thumb to me, and I'm certainly not the only one. I mean, usually your eyelids and your eyes swell shut and turn a real bright pinkish. What's going on, Joe Cool? Oh, yeah? Yeah, I read your mind. It's good to see you, brother. Yeah, this situation is this poor Emanuel Harlo, and the father has a history that speaks for itself. I mean, holy shit. Like, how are you supposed to ignore that? He's scared. You can see it in his eyes. He's scared like he's done something. That's just my bias speaking, of course. But, I mean, it's not looking very good. They've been pulling evidence, baby clothes, I believe, out of a dumpster located just down the street. They've taken their cars away. Everybody's walking around, making their content, searching on different camera angles from this, what is it, the top 5 sporting goods store? So this individual, supposedly, according to her, I can't even believe you got in front of the TV and said that shit. I appreciate you, Quillfish. Hope you're feeling better, girl. I mean, it shows you just the amount of desperation. It has to be him, and he's putting her up to this. I mean, he seems to be... not to mention this... I can't remember what the father's name is, but Emmanuel's biological father. Is it his biological father? Oh my God, he's cold as ice. He had an issue with a coworker. He was dating this gal that he worked with in Walmart, and ended up things got pretty shitty. And this coming from a person who knows him. I think I saw that in JLRs. There's all kinds of little things popping up. Jake Harrow, Amy, thank you. All kinds of things popping up. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what time Dolly shut it down last night. I went to bed. I went to bed out there when the sun was down in California. I wonder what they're waiting on. In a circumstance like this, I mean, that, could you imagine? You could cut the tension in that house with a knife. You know, you never once heard about Janie or Daniel or anybody insisting that the RCMP clear their names. They want to continue, acting in front of a bunch of people as though, blue is red, up is down. Look at you two fucking suspects. You don't have to worry and fight out here amongst a bunch of randos to give you the benefit of the doubt. Why don't you insist that the RCMP clear your names? There's no way the RCMP would do that, by the way. Why? Because you idiots look too fucking guilty. That's what we're going to talk about today a little bit. Ninchi's True Crime made a video on it, and it blew my mind just how contradictory they are in real time. They'll say anything in the moment to pander to the audience in that sense, and then contradict themselves if necessary, and not even realize it or care for that matter. So this Janie McKenzie statement isn't new. It comes from the 2.5 hours of crazy claims by this witch of a woman. Sorry, that's my biased. I'm trying not to, but Janie is just so fucking difficult. I mean, she's such a bitch. I'm going to straight up tell you. Oh my God. It's hard to ignore her attitude. And it doesn't matter, because a person who treats children like that isn't a person that I'm overly concerned about. Which probably makes me biased. Jake Harlow looks like a really big guy too, picking on women and babies. What the fuck would make you snap like that? Drippy. Like, what would make Jake snap to the point of hurting a baby? Does he not like crying? I remember how annoying babies crying was. It's still annoying. Don't get me wrong, but now it's annoying for a different reason. I get, it's not nice to say, and I mean, you can tolerate it because babies are wonderful. They're fantastic. But babies crying is still an annoying sound, technically. Yeah, nothing would make you snap like that. Usually you get up and tend to the child in order to get it to stop crying. I think that's the whole process. Someone with a short fuse to harm children. I wonder what this is going to be, Lori. Oh, man. Not just that, but it takes one cold SOB to then turn back on the woman. Say, look at me for a second. I'm going to give you this black eye, and we're going to go and concoct this fantastic story. Stan, you're going to tell it in front of a camera, and we're going to get away with this. Thank God. Somewhere at any one point in time, the police are doing their jobs in this circumstance. Heavens to Betsy. Could you imagine? Like, Maybe he just can't control himself. Like, what is it about these relationships that get Jake so uppity? Like, what gets him so possessive and controlling? It's all easy to go back to the rhetoric, but I'm asking, what in this situation, I wonder? She looked scared shitless. Like, she looked like she was in a hostage video under duress. Like, there's never really a normal good taping when a parent's in front of a camera like that. But there's a reason you do it, because, well, there's many reasons you do it. Because in the moment, people are giving you the benefit of the doubt, and you need to get the word out. Imagine somebody come up and snatching your baby from you. Who the fuck wants to do that? That's something that you heard. That's something that they do in hospitals. Coming in and snatching your child in that sense. But imagine in the middle of a parking lot. She says that she pulled over because she smelled a poopy diaper and she needed to change the child in the car. No, you're waiting until I get home. You can wait. You can sit in that poopy diaper until I get home. I don't need to be altering my course in order to change that diaper right away. That's the first thing that kind of stood out to me. Like, it's one thing if you're on your way out to do something and you got to take the child and go and do things in the store. Yeah, then it's probably easier. That's why they usually have places in the bathroom to do it, made just for that. In fact, it's like, all right, maybe I might go into that store because I know they have this great big table. I want to use that great big table. It's like the only cool thing about this whole thing. Why would you then go and use your car and risk getting shit all over the back seat? Come on. In the middle of a parking lot. In the middle of the California heat. Wouldn't you rather go inside the store that you were going to in order to change them? But again, it's just a bullshit story. You can poke holes in that all day from this Harlo situation. But it's so amazing to sit here and know that you're getting put through the ringer again. Here we go again. But what do you expect to people that are trying, that have brought harm to children? What else do you expect? You expect them to lie. I wonder what they're waiting for at this point in time, though. Going through the process. Every time the department is in a situation like this, it takes you extra long, and you've got to reverse engineer things in that circumstance to be able to prove that they're indeed lying in that sense. It wasn't too hard in this circumstance for them. But it's just, you can't, it's not like you expect them because they lied to throw cuffs on them in the circumstance. There's all kinds of reasons for lying to the cops. But that's a different story. But you don't want to live in a society like that. You think they should be... Well, this particular department seems to be on the ball. I mean, it's just such an out there story. Like, how do you expect us to believe that? I wonder what made him come up with that. It's probably a two-for. I don't think... It's hard to know exactly what that black eye was for or from. We knew, does it have something to do with Emmanuel? Probably, because the child's an extension of the mother in this circumstance. And to Jake, maybe he's listening to too much gangster rap. You think? Think he's playing too many video games? Too many violent video games? It's hard to say. It's a very bizarre situation because of them both going with this particular story. Like, why is she protecting him? Is there some sort of control issue going on, you think? I would expect so, but of course, I don't want to be jumping the gun. You would think so. But again, Jake claims that he's innocent. The dude's damn near crying on camera. In a more honest way than Daniel, for example. Hey, what's going on, Infamous Kim? Emmanuel's mother described him as cross-eyed. What a woman. Well, he had a lazy eye in that sense. He's cross-eyed. Was there something wrong with him or not? Something wrong with him. Did he have a disability at that point? Was he born with a condition in that circumstance? I don't know was my question. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? There's nothing wrong with this beautiful young child. Janie is a crime matriarch? Black Opal? I see you around. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You want to hear this? Should I get this started? Maybe I should start this. Friends, I'm going to put this in the video link right now, and I'll pin it to the top. You guys are all already subscribed to Nietzsche. Let's listen to this for a moment and then talk about Janie a little bit in a non-judgmental way. It's going to be really tough. We got to prepare ourselves. I'm going to have to psychologically prepare for this one. Her voice is so triggering at this point in time because she's such a blatant fucking liar. Always just so concerned about her innocence in this nutty story over anything about Jack and Lily. And when she does bring them up, it's a negative connotation and beyond. Oh, where's your fucking pool, bitch? It's August and it's a heat wave. Where's your pool now, bitch? Ain't no fucking pool going on in front of there in the RV. What a stupid place to put a pool in the first place. I'm not even going on about that. You should hear all of this shit. We'll see how far we get with it today, but listen, we have to get this one out of the way because I'm pretty sure most of you probably haven't heard this. There's all kinds of those. Like, why is she has to be... Do you think it's just... I don't want to say that. There's a reason for her behavior. Like, she could have chosen not to say anything. What do you believe motivates her to come forward with this blatantly disgusting account of the day Jack and Lily went missing?
Imagine being someone who actually cares about these children and who feels that they're not being kept up to date, who fears that the investigation may actually go cold and that it hasn't been done effectively. Imagine just wanting to know where your grandchildren were. We've heard from Belinda Gray, and we know that she genuinely feels this. She's been a voice for these children from day one, pretty much. And she recently did that interview with one of the media outlets calling for change, calling for transparency, which kudos to her. And I'm glad that she is willing to fight so much for these grandchildren. Now, in an ideal world, some politician out there would see Belinda's cries for help and make contact with her and ask what they can do to help. I'd like to think that maybe that could happen one day, but I have my doubts. Simply, there seems to be far too much silence.
And before we get started, why the fuck would the warden or anybody a part of this case concerned, and it's about Jack and Lily, it's not about it's not out centric around Janie and Daniel. Why would anybody come and try to assist Janie and Daniel when they're not even related to the kids that went missing in the first place. And it's just part of the bullshit, guys, and this illusion that you're trying to create with insisting that you're the stepfather. You're not. You're not even blood related. Janie is not, has zero genetic investment in any of this. But she's insisting that people go up and out of their way. Like she mentions the Premier of Nova Scotia. Well, the Premier is the man in Nova Scotia, the leader of the party who holds the most seats in Parliament. Okay? The head douchebag. Why would you need them to come to your defense in this circumstance and not people like the RCMP and clear your name because you have all of the reasons in the world to have your name cleared, you two fucking idiots? That tells you the types of individuals that they are. Low moral fiber, far beyond this. What about talking about this supposed open fucking relationship that Malaya and Daniel had in this circumstance? All that is for Daniel, a tweaker, is something. It's like carte blanche to go become a sexual deviant with anybody else, including children. In my opinion.
But what if you were connected to this case and you had the opportunity for someone with a little bit of influence to step in and help you out? How would you react? The reason I'm asking this is because there's two clips from this recent video that I released, which is all the Facebook audio from Janie. And aside from telling us a heck of a lot about the sort of person that she truly is, they also give us a few answers. So I'm going to go through these two clips and explain things as we go along.
But thank you very much, guys. There's just one last thing I'd like to say. I don't know how many people are from Nova Scotia or Pictou County or whatever.
Who wants to do the honors of timing this fucking idiot out? Get the fuck out of my chat. And I'm going to report you for unwanted spam, bitch. What do you think about that?
Whatever. I would just like to say this, and this is my opinion, but to Robert Parker and Tim Houston, you took the time to go over to the RCMP station and talk to them, but you didn't take the time to come here.
That sounds like Janie herself. You made about a circular comment in my fucking chat. You sound like Janie yourself. Janie, get the fuck out of my chat, you sleazeball. Nasty bitch.
Here and see how we were doing. And you're all about the community and you're all about the people. Well, we were two people that needed you and you were not around. And
so this is it right here. This is it right here, going on with this ridiculous statement about how the Premier and the warden, that knob warden that is like, dude, there's 100 people in that county. He's supposed to be a representative. It's like he drew the shortest straw type of thing. But he still has political clout in that manner. If you needed something, you would go to him in that regards. Not really. You'd probably go to your local provincial parliament or member of federal parliament in that regard if you wanted to get something done, especially with the RCMP. You wouldn't go to the warden. But nonetheless, she's going on about how they did all of these things for everybody else and they've left her in the dark and her family over there. So the next day, the warden shows up at her house and she turns around right away and tells her to get the fuck off the property. Oh my God. She goes, so everything she's saying right now is nothing but a bullshit lie in order to look a certain way, to create the illusion that she's being victimized somehow in all of this and requires the assistance of her local political factions to somehow bring harmony to her life. She kicks the dude right off the property. So she says. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt in this claim. But it goes to show you just how fucking nutty she is. Absolutely. Like, this is somebody that is guilty and withholding guilty knowledge in this circumstance. Oh, you didn't like that?
I don't think that was right, because you're there for everyone, not just people that you're favored to. So if you hear this, or if you go into this chat, or whoever knows them, please let them know that I do not like what they have done.
So I had to do a bit of research being Australian, and what I found out is that Robert Parker is the warden of Pictou County. I believe, and help me out here, I believe that a warden is like a mayor. They're the head of the council for the area, the county or the shire. Or
places where there's absolutely no population in Canada, you have to name them something. So warden, he's just some dude.
Or the city, depending on, where you live. We did actually see an interview with him quite early on in the case when the children first went missing. Tim Houston is the Premier of Nova Scotia, which is essentially the head of state, if you're not familiar with Commonwealth countries. He is the head of Parliament. So, for those of you in America, just a quick explanation. In Commonwealth countries, Canada, Australia, our government...
Oh, you're going to butcher this one.
...of government, we have the upper house, which is the Senate, and the lower house, which is the House of Representatives. I'm not sure if that's exact terminology that they use in Canada, but as the Premier, he is like the head of the lower house.
Head bitch.
And his party is made up of various ministers, and they basically each have responsibility for a different area. So you might have a minister for education, a minister for resources. I'm just guessing here, I don't know what their ministers are in Canada.
Cocaine resource.
But essentially, he is head of the party that are in power in Canada at this, or in Nova Scotia at this point in time. Each state has their own separate elected premier. So to be calling out these pretty influential people makes you think that she is actually wanting someone to step in and help out with this frustrating situation. Help to get things moving on the case. You'd think that the motivation here...
Could have even complained to the warden about clearing your name. Programming, conditioning that zipperhead to get in front of a camera and say things that you need him to. But no, you had to kick him off the property. Crazy, crazy old lady.
Here would be, well, they spoke to these searchers and they're not directly connected to the case. They're just there to do a job. What about those of us who are connected to these children, who are feeling the loss of these children? Of course, we know Janie. And if you've listened to audio of her, then you probably realise that that's not the motivation here. I'm going to play the next clip.
No, yesterday I mentioned a couple of people in this chat. I mentioned Robert Parker and Tim Houston. Now, get this. Someone in chat, or somebody must have said something, because I just had a visit from Robert Parker. And I had a few words with him. And I said to him, after 2 months, you're finally coming to give your support to us. And he tried to make it up an excuse. Oh, I was busy. No, that is no excuse. You're there for the people when they are good times and having good times and having bad times. You're there to support them. And after 2 months, he finally shows up to ask if we need anything.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class. Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class. Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
To make it up an excuse. Oh, I was busy. No, that is no excuse. You're there for the people when they are good times and having good times and having bad times. You're there to support them. And after 2 months, he finally shows up to ask if we need anything. So there is your I think it's your MLA or whoever he is. I'm not sure. But there you go. But it's an awful coincidence, after me mentioning him on this Facebook, that he shows up to see if we need anything. And you know what I did? I told him to get the F off of my property. And you know what he said? He babbled and said, oh, all right, all right, all right. And he finally got in his car and left.
So I think you're probably screwing up what they would otherwise refer to as nuptials. Through the good times and the bad. That's something that you need to talk to Earl about there, honey baby, not the warden of the county. The warden of the county isn't around for you in your bad times. That's not how it works. It's not how it works there.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class. Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
My retard alert. Absolutely.
So whoever mentioned about if it was on here, but it's an awful coincidence that he shows up today after me mentioning it on Facebook. So whoever said anything about that, thank you very much. I had my say and I'm very happy.
So this guy turns...
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Oh my God. Oh my God. Someone has to go interview that warden. You think that's entitled, Norbeaster? She's a victim here. How dare you're not there for Janie in her time of need. My dog's losing its hair. It's all stressed the fuck out. Wait till we start with some of these things. She is batshit crazy, y'all. Could you imagine Justin in there? Justin has got to be just as fucking crazy. And you damn right, Mike DeMann. Justin has to be that son of a bitch who is helping Daniel hide all of that evidence, destroy all of that evidence. That's Justin's role in all of this.
up who has influence, who has power, who has authority.
After 2 months, you're finally coming to give your support to us. And he tried to make it up an excuse. Oh.
So you're saying you said to the warden after 2 months you're coming over here now to give your support to us? Are you sure that's what he was doing in the first place? She didn't even give him time to explain. She's the boss of the house. You know? she's the boss of her house in this circumstance. That whole property, imagine Daniel and Malaya and the kids all living in that trailer back there with this old fucking crow living behind them, interfering in every aspect of their lives as an added stressor in Malaya's life and the kids. Completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary that you expose the children to this nasty old fucking battle axe. Oh, there's no question about it, Queez. There's no question. You don't even have to ask her. She's the one who doesn't hear anything. She's the one who leaves you to your own business in your front trailer after she asked you why you got home so late. What? I don't think so. Absolutely overbearing. Absolutely. And she's not afraid just to go out there and spit lies. Just spew bullshit, lies. It can only get fun. It can only get more entertaining from here. Quick, somebody do another interview with this old lady. We need some more. Hold on. She's the type, what are you saying, Drippy? She's the type to act like a bully until somebody puts her in her place, and then she's still all woe is me, the victim, in your opinion? Too bad she didn't learn how to play soccer. She's taking a dive. She's like the Dennis Rodman of true crime. The worm. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Wonder, did they find the blanket on the pipeline and hid her in the cupboard prior to putting in the garbage? Listen, Dorothy, she doesn't have cupboards, all right? She doesn't have cupboards in there. She renovated that old nasty RV. You renovated. Listen, there's no such thing. She calls it a trailer. Honey, that's a fucking broken down old RV, bitch. With an engine in a passenger seat, in a driver's seat with a steering wheel, probably an AM radio in that bad boy. Old school, one speaker, popping. A fucking thing you got that from the dump, all right? You probably met the guy there as he was throwing it out. And you towed it home to your place, backed it in there, and that's going to be your new house. And you're going to move in Malaya in her basketball team full of kids, and you're going to be living the high life off of the mother's allowance each and every month because guess what, bitches? Rent just went up. That was her perfect environment in that circumstance. She's just a filthy mouth, nasty bitch. Taking a shit in a 5-gallon pot in that goddamn RV. Could you imagine her and Justin fighting over the fucking toilet? Fighting over the toilet in that old RV? Who's going to dump the shitter out this morning, honey? Which one of you two lazy son of a bitches is going to dump the shitter out this morning? Or should we call it the chamber pot?
Oh, I was busy. No, that is no excuse. You're there for the people when they are good times and having good times and having bad times. You're there to support them. And after 2 months, he finally shows up to ask if we need anything. So there is your I think it's your MLA or whoever he is. I'm not sure. But there you go. But it's an awful coincidence.
She doesn't know. She doesn't pay taxes in fucking forever. She's spent the last 30 years trying to avoid any of that nonsense and to be the antithesis to contributing to society.
After me mentioning him...
Why the fuck do you think she lives in an old broken down RV behind her old shittier fucking trailer? Because the trailer's already so fucking destroyed. Even that broken down old RV is a better choice. She was moving on up. She's so fucking worried about putting this nasty ass fence around there. Everything else is falling down and rotting around on that place except for a few spots on a third of a painted fence outside her RV. And about $17 worth of flowers that she bought from the grocery store to put in front of her fucking gate. It's not even a gate. It's just a goddamn skid put up vertically. It's like you're living on a job site.
On this Facebook that he shows up to see if we need anything. And you know what I did? I told him to get the F off of my property. And you know what he said? He babbled and said, oh, all right. And he finally got in his car and left. So
I gotta hand it to Janie, though. This is probably the funniest thing I've heard her say yet. It is funny, but it's only funny in the context of all of the other crap that she says. It is rather humorous. It's funny for more than one reason. I don't think she can stop shooting off at the mouth. Wouldn't you consider this just hardcore shooting off at the mouth? Could you imagine fucking living there? Oh my God. Oh my God. Could you imagine growing up normal in that environment? I wonder what the reason her and Earl broke up was. Why'd you two lovebirds break up in the first place? Did you guys have an open relationship back in the day? Maybe Earl walked in on Janie making love to her uncle. Probably. That's how Justin came along. Imagine being married to her. Holy shit, Amy. No. No. She's not the Marion type. She'd even be rough. She'd be rough even by, roadie standards. Like what sort of nasty death metal band would you associate Janie McKenzie to? Something like Gwar? G.G. Allen? Oh, God. She got caught cheating with a contractor working on his house? She got caught cheating with a contractor working on Earl's house. That's Charmaine saying that. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but let's hold on. Let me consider it for a second. It broke Earl's heart. Poor Earl. Old Janie was probably a looker back in the day. I doubt that. Best looking lady within 10 square kilometers. Till that one lady moved in. She's fit. Yeah, it's from a good source, Charmaine. Charmaine's way ahead of the game on all this. She's saying that's true. Okay. What year was that? Janie, that's disgusting. How dare you? Janie, you're supposed to stick by your husband through the good times and the bad, honey baby. Not the warden. It's you and Earl. You and Earl were supposed to stick it through the good times and the bad. Not the warden. So you banged the contractor. Probably somebody, I wonder if it was Durwood. You think it was Durwood? O'Grady with the excavator? He's always been always been around, coming over for coffee and tea in that old trailer. Well, what's not to love? What's not to love? There's so much to love about Janie.
So whoever mentioned about if it was on here, but it's an awful coincidence that he shows up today after me mentioning it on Facebook. So whoever said anything about that, thank you very much. I had my say and I'm very happy.
So this guy turns up who has influence, who has power, who has authority. After her saying, well, they never came and asked us what we need. So he turns up and says, well, what do you need? And she tells him to sod off. She tells him to get off her property. That tells you everything you need to know about Janie McKenzie. That tells you her motivation. She's not concerned about these missing children. She's not worried about them being found. She's not concerned.
She's concerned about being treated a certain way and not being treated a certain way in light of these children having just vanished from her house. And she's worried about how you're going to treat her in this point in time. And not a word, aside from the fact that they're really two little son of a bitches that she's got no use for, or her mother.
concerned about not having updates from the RCMP. She's probably relieved that they're not getting updates from the RCMP because she probably thinks the case has gone cold and the focus is off them. But if she genuinely cared about these children and someone who had the power to actually act as a go-between even.
Listen, let's not get confused. At any other point in time, it might be plausible to act a certain way. That's not what we're talking about. We're here to judge Janie's honesty in this very moment. And that you can be proud of. She's fucking a bullshit liar. All right? These kids go missing off the person's property, and she is in turn behaving like this. You can even get a little less specific in what it is that she's doing. But in totality, everything that she's bringing is centric around her own self and preservation and how she's treated. And it's just completely absurd. It's absurd. In light of Lily and Jack missing, two little children from her property that she doesn't want to spend at any point in time talking in detail, thereby allowing us or allowing the truth of the situation to shine through. No, it's being protected. Remember, Daniel is a co-detective in all of this, and he's protecting all of this important information that's otherwise relevant to the case. And it's just between them and the major crimes unit from the RCMP, like they do. Like you do when you're a co-detective. Oh, by co-detective, he really means suspect. And you see the twist each and every time that stupid son of a bitch has addressed it in the past. It's a pivot point.
With RCMP to push the investigation along, to do all sorts of things that could help. This guy turns up and she doesn't say, well, yes, we do need your help. We want more transparency from the RCMP. We want more updates. We want to know that they're actually looking for these children. I mean, if you were in a position where you have two missing children and you feel that the RCMP have dropped the bundle and you're not being told anything and you're worried that things aren't happening, and someone with enormous clout turns up on your doorstep, really? You're just going to tell him to sod off?
Oh, no. She's going to tell him, it took you 2 months to come here and show your support. Why don't you kiss my foot? Kiss my ring. Like, what does she think that it's his job there to do? What is it she wanted? I think that's what he was there wanting to know himself. This poor guy, you gave him such the cold shoulder. You gave him poor treatment, Janie. You didn't even invite him in for a refreshment into the RV.
Willing to bet. In fact, I wouldn't need to bet because it would be a certainty. If someone with that much influence turned up on Belinda Gray's doorstep and said, I know it's been 2 months, but I'm here to see what help you need now, you can bet she's not going to tell him to sod off. She's going to say, come inside, sit down, and I'm going to tell you what I need. My grandchildren are missing. I don't have any information. I'm being kept out of the loop. I have no idea what's going on. I need help. But not Janie. Janie had someone on her doorstep with influence, someone who could help, potentially help progress this case. What does she do? She tells them to sod off. No, Janie's not concerned about Lily and Jack. To her, Lily, Jack and Malaya were intruding on her privacy. Her only concerns now are that she wants people to leave her alone and she wants this case to go away. She wants people to forget that Lily and Jack are missing and go on with their lives so she can go on with her life.
Oh,
if Janie
very
really
powerful.
gave a damn about...
Oh my God, that's so very true. So it seems. Janie, you brought this upon yourself by coming out on behalf of yourself. You had every opportunity to say the right things and let people into the situation, but you chose to lie, deceive, deflect, bend the truth, all on behalf of that stupid son of a bitch tweaker son of yours, Daniel, who can't control his cock and he can't control his emotions because he's hooked on the glass dick.
About those two children, then she would have welcomed Robert Parker with welcome arms. But instead, he was just another intruder on her property, and she didn't want him there. She didn't want his help. Show me I'm wrong about this. Thanks for listening.
Oh, welcome and
if you are
jumping.
new to my channel, please subscribe. Also, please hit that like button and leave a comment below.
Yeah, I had to play that one for you guys this morning. That's one of the better videos I've seen recently. And we haven't, and that's coming from this particular. You can also get it, actually, I should mention both channels. Nietzsche's got a version, it's pretty much the same thing, of all the voice answers from Janie McKenzie from Facebook chat. It's probably honed down a little bit from UK Underwater Adventures, who has a bunch of compilation statement videos from that idiot Derwood O'Grady. Not really interested in hearing anything he has to say. He's just a bullshit artist. But he's also got Logan up there. Yes, Logan. Oh my God. That entire family, the fact that you're even involved should make you have to go through programs to even be around children again. I'm fucking worried about who's got Meadow in the beginning. It's all just for show. Meadow's still in province's provincial custody. She's ward of the crown.
Even up in the woods with my other two grandchildren, if Jack is sitting there looking for bugs, Lily's usually saying, come on, Jackie, let's go. Let's go. So that's another thing I can't understand is if I never heard the kids running. If the kids were running out of the yard, out of the gate, out of the fence, my dog would have still been barking. As I said, because of Lily's loud scream and hollering. So, as I said, I heard the kids out here in the yard by the swings. And then I heard completely silence. So, you guys can have your opinions, or you guys have your speculations, or what.
Or whatever. Okay, we'll do the whatever. Listen, you heard them out by the swings, in between the swings where there's that huge wood pile where they couldn't make use of any of the equipment. And then the next thing you heard was absolute silence. And that's it. That's all you know. So you were literally right there, awake and conscious, when all of this allegedly went down or happened that you want us to believe. And it's just like magic. She's nobody more than Janie has emphasized this magical thinking in this circumstance, all before she even shows any sort of concern for Jack and Lily or their whereabouts or what happened to them that particular day. She's only concerned about where she was in any one moment in her own mind, aligning with whatever fabricated, fictitious timeline that they've presented to the RCMP. Oh, you fucktard alert? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Absolutely. Fucking Janie.
Whatever. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, why didn't I hear the kids longer if they get out of the fence and start running up the driveway or leaving the driveway? It says...
So your answer to all that, you're posing a question. Your answer is a question. Your answer is not a question. Your answer needs to be a statement, somewhat tangible with whatever the question was in response. Not some sort of other random, mysterious illusion that you're creating. this, and this. So if I couldn't hear them walk down and the volume get down and I'm sitting randomly in my chair playing on Facebook, zoning in and out of sleep in the middle of the fucking day. So really, you're doing a multitude of things there. You're, again, trying to put the blame back onto the kids for not somehow audibly signaling you. And they just happened to get out of the gate and walked away, never to be fucking seen again. Because that happens. No, something happened to the kids. Long before the, we'll say at 9:45 event that they want to emphasize, this 20-minute window. This 20-minute window is going to be your undoing. You're the one who's so insistent, and this whole claim is based upon this 20-minute window. And Janie indirectly, never once wanting to say that she verified seeing the kids, but she wants us to believe that she hurt the kids, therefore they were out there. And then she heard silence. And then she wants to ask you a question in order to put the blame back onto Jack and Lily in that moment again. You tell me what the fuck is going on there, Mrs. Guilty Knowledge. Nobody needs out here to answer your question or to follow along your illogical way of thinking in this circumstance. It's you who's avoiding answering this in the first place. And through the entire process of avoidance, you would have to think that you know exactly where you're covering. You know Daniel did something to these kids. That's why you're so sensitive about it. You came out of your skin. You jumped out of your skin. The whole world knows that you guys are guilty of this. The entire world knows that you, Daniel, and probably your other idiot son that's sitting in the RV with you, all have something to do with this. You couldn't act any more guilty. You couldn't act in any more guilty of a manner than they do throughout this whole process. In a desperate attempt to cry in front of the camera at the right time. Want to address all of these BS nonsense questions that don't have anything to do with Jack and Lily in this circumstance. A person who has been victimized. And the worst thing about all of this is that you want to be seen as now, after the fact, a relative and blood and loving of Jack and Lily. That's just a goddamn insult to everybody out here. And shows just to what extent you psychos will go to make yourselves look better on the backs of two innocent children who are dead because you guys fucking killed them. You don't deserve any sort of respect from the public whatsoever. You don't deserve peace and quiet. You deserve a fucking long life jail sentence, each and every one of you, including Earl. You all exactly know which one and why it is that you're lying and covering up for the other one in this point in time.
Is that she's on her way. Okay. On her way. Does that mean she's just leaving or she's already on her way? See, you gotta look at it both ways. And as I said earlier, if my kids were missing...
So here's this idiot Janie going on about Cindy Brooks Murray. Because there's conflict, here's her stupid fucking attempt. Hey, dummy. Malaya had an ongoing conversation with her parents and knew far before all of you assholes called the RCMP on yourselves that she's going to need picking up. And Cindy was already on the way. It's not a goddamn mystery, nor should it be. These idiots trying to make this look like it's suspicious for Malaya. Fuck. She should have been out of there in December, you idiots. Malay probably should have never even been there in the first place. But Fancy Pants Daniel got her hooked on the jib, on the shake and bake. Probably tried to condition her into being like a 21st century sex slave / open relationship. That fucking worked out well, didn't it? What else do you need to say that you don't need to have any sort of attachment than a claiming of an open relationship when you've got 3 kids involved? And you don't have any emotions towards one another? Well, that's just an admission to not caring about Jack and Lily in that circumstance. It's even more of an indicator. Retard. Les retardos. Man.
I would be right on the phone, if my grandchildren were missing and
If your grandchildren were missing? Yeah, but aren't your grandchildren missing there, sweetheart? See how she plays? It goes in and out of this. Now she's claiming, listen, she's trying to come down on somebody else for how they're acting. And her grandchildren are missing. Okay? And she's putting this forth. What garbage? Not technically, because we all know that she's just playing an act. She doesn't consider Jack and Lily to be her grandkids. And here's your proof right here. You want to be treated you want others to think that you consider them to be so beloved around the home, but you can't think of one nice thing to say about them. You got to focus on all the negative in a time that they're missing from the property that you reside on. All while your whole modus operandi out here is to portray yourself as some sort of innocent individual in anything negative that anybody else is thinking about you, and you want to be left alone and move on. Nope, the kids are gone. They're not coming back. You're the one volunteering and introducing all of this. These fuckers are guilty AF. Hurry the F up. Put cuffs on them, man. Especially Janie. I want you to fucking hog tie that woman and throw her in the back of the cruiser. And I want to see her scream bloody murder. I want to see you in the jail cell. Absolutely. So does Earl, probably, I would expect. Probably be a fine day in his life as well. I'd imagine that. If he truly doesn't have anything to do with this. But he's guilty just by proxy of these assholes.
I can tell you is from what I told you, my brother called me at 8:48. We talked for 2 minutes, 59 seconds. After that, I laid down. My dog barked because Lily and Jack were here where the swings are. I have a board up over my window. I did not see them because the board was closed. The reason I have a board up over my window is for the winter time to keep the draft out and for the summertime to keep the sun out. I heard them Friday morning. I swear on a Bible. Better than that, I swear.
Why the hell do you have to just scream, I'm telling the truth, I swear on the Bible, I need you to believe me so fucking bad. I'm getting so mad. Here's the truth. Listen, you need some acting courses. You need some classes. She's a horrible liar in this circumstance. Listen, honey. Listen. You need to calm down, Janie.
Swear on my father's grave.
Ooh. Oh.
Heard them Friday morning.
Why is she so combative? Nobody's around to yell at, and she's yelling. It's like it's one thing to be in a debate or a heated discussion or in conversation at least, and she's just talking to like herself, the zeitgeist out there.
So the kids were here Friday morning. After that, I don't...
Well, first of all, you're stumbling over your words. It's resembling a lot like checking your story as you go.
know what happened to them. My first instinct when she told me that the kids were missing was check the woods. That's what I did.
Right.
And when I found out they were not in the woods, I said they're not in the woods. And for what she said about Jack...
Wow. So it's interesting. I had to stop because that's Janie acknowledging that the kids are not in the woods. So why do you continue on with this story in the sense that these kids just wandered off and walked out and no other part of your story's changed? But yet the outcome has in her sense. Oh, we detecting a bit of a slip already.
And literally wondering, that's a bunch of BS. The only time they go anywhere up in the woods is when my other two grandchildren are here. And they're always kept an eye on by me. And if Daniel's in the yard, he watches them too. And the kids have never wandered away or never gone in the woods by themselves in the last 2 years. Why all of a sudden would they do it Friday morning? And there's three...
No, I think you're confusing your place here. It's not us that has to answer that. That's you, bitch, that has to answer that. Not us. What she's doing is she's taking the key question that everybody else out there, including the RCMP, want to know, and she's taking that question and turning it and spinning it in just the right moment and asking the rest of the world as part of her answer. That's her answer. Okay? Her answer is the question that the RCMP asked her. That's not the only one. This is a pattern of behavior with this one. Janie, you're not good at this. I want to be bad cop.
Three questions I cannot answer. The first question is who would know the kids were home? And number two, who would know when they were outside? And number three...
Guess what, bitch? You. Because you're the boss of the place. You know everything that comes and goes on around there because there's nothing else to do in that stupid 6 foot by 24 foot broken down RV, but look out the goddamn window because the dog's always farting and he's barking at something out there because there ain't nothing else to do in the back of an RV, honey baby. All right? Talking about how you've got the place renovated. There's only so much you can do in the back of a van, sweet tits. By renovate, you mean throw out the nasty-ass mattress into the front yard?
When I saw Malaya outside my RV, why wasn't she crying or why wasn't she hysterical?
She knows the reason why she's introduced Malaya as to just standing out there is because she knows that Malaya's not around to say anything else and she's free to really incorporate her into this bullshit lie at any point in time, and it's more like a pass the torch. Here, it's your turn now. Now it gives everybody something to ask you that I just made up, and you can tell it from your perspective in whichever way that you wish. Christ, just getting to know this idiot family over the last few months, it makes Malaya seem a lot more of a victim in this circumstance than she is anything else at this point in time, because of the level of attempts at intimidation. The fact that you put all of these bold-faced bullshit lies out ups the danger zone in the background. One more and you'll be a serial killer, Daniel.
If her kids went missing 20 minutes ago. And here's another thing for you to think about. I lived here for 26 years. I've raised my 2 boys here.
Big fucking deal. I know everything. What, she's going to go on to contradict herself again? Forgot the point that I was just going to bring up. What's going on, Nasty?
I've been in this community for 60 years. I was born and raised here. My homestead is where my brother lives. So, I know the traffic on this road. After 26 years, I know the traffic on this road. Now, nobody is going to go by here and say, oh, there's 2 kids in the yard. Let's stop and pick them up. For number 1, that's where those 3 questions come into. And as far as Malaya being isolated, that's a bunch of bullcrap. Because she used to drive Daniel to work when he was working full time. And there's something else I'm going to straighten you out about too in a minute. When she wanted the car, she would drive Daniel to work. She would go do what she had to do. She would even bring Daniel his lunch. She would come home. Then she would go back in the evening and pick Daniel up. So she was free to go when she wanted to go.
Yeah, that's what all drug dealers say in that circumstance. She wasn't free to go because she was suffering from addiction from the drugs that Daniel had her hooked on. Bitch. All right? So until Cindy came and rescued her because of how things ended up, of course nobody thinks that their significant other is going to brutally murder their children. Wonder what other kind of cockamamie, backwood, hillbilly, weird things that they condition Malaya into thinking. I wonder if just how far the abuse extended with these 2 children, because Daniel, we know, is a sick motherfucker. Pedo level.
And another thing, the reason why Daniel is only working 1 day a week is because of this here tariff tax. The mill is having problems getting logs. That's the only reason why the mill is down 1 day a week. And that started in, I think, February. They started going down 1 day a week. But just in the last 3 weeks, they've been full time. They've been 3 weeks steady. 5 days a week.
Not your boy Daniel, because he's off on stress leave. Because everybody down at the mill is talking about how he's a killer, a child killer. Double child killer. That's 2.
So, if anybody thinks that Malaya was isolated, she had every chance in the world to go wherever she wanted. That's all she had to do was ask Daniel for the car, and Daniel gave her the car. And then,
so I think that's your answer. That's your answer right there, because, listen, stupid, that's not what it is that we're speaking of. She doesn't have anywhere else to go with her kids at that point. She's the one trying to make a go of it out there at that house. And you're up here speaking for Malaya, talking about her being isolated. How dare this fucking bitch? You can see the control in her voice right here. Like you're not in a position to be speaking for Malaya and how she felt in that moment. And you're simplifying what you want people to think isolated means in that circumstance. It's Janie who's not acknowledging Malaya's use of the term in the first place and exactly what that means to Malaya. Why would she be? Because she's a contributing factor into why Malaya feels so fucking isolated, because she's got this weirdo, idiot mother of this partner of a dude who's she's only with because he's got the drugs she's addicted to, who's in this open relationship and actively has permission to give other people more attention than he's actually giving Malaya in the first place, and she's feeling isolated. Yeah, you asked for kind of that with all of this nonsense. But this is the life that they're portraying to us. And she's yelling at you. She's yelling at you for it. Can you believe this? You're a fucking weirdo, bitch. I can't wait till they have this bitch in cuffs. It's probably going to be my favorite trial out of all of them, is to watch her up there. Crazy old fucking bitch. See, it's tough. It's tough to listen to Janie and not get worked up. Like she's just that aggro. Like she's that nasty, and the kids had to live around this. It has to be, look, at this point in time, she's going to say one thing when it's actually another. Like she admittedly talks about how she moved out of the trailer. Her and Justin moved out of the trailer because it was too loud. It was too much with all of the kids living there. So she's admitting to you that they couldn't all be around one place at one time, nor did they want to be. There's the underlying resentment. And she went as far as to move into this nastier old RV in the back just to get away from it, telling you how just fantastic of a life she's having. Bitch, please. You're living fucking worse than a homeless person in goddamn downtown Los Angeles. It looks like something right out of Skid Row in Pictou County. It doesn't matter how much lipstick you're going to put on that fucking pig. It's going to look just as goddamn nasty. And that's probably the parting words that the warden had for you. And all of this time, she and her little brood here are the ones who last saw Jack and Lily alive, and they're behaving, acting, and speaking like this. And it's all in an accusatory tone to try in an attempt to put it all back onto the accusers, which is just the randos from the internet. All while playing stupid, all while acting around what the true suspicions and the true questions that they should be already exposed to. When a person has genuinely been victimized in a circumstance like this, there's no need, like the truth speaks for itself in the reality of the situation. There's no reality of this situation other than the proposed timeline that they called 911 with, that they want everybody to believe that they've already themselves admitted didn't really happen. Because for days, they had to have people convinced that these kids walked into the woods, and that was necessitating this great big search. And it was headlines for all that time in that circumstance. As soon as it lost the headline, things changed. Yeah, you're right. It can't be this. It has to be something else. It's their plan B at that point in time. They're just kicking the can down the road, bro. All while occupying some sort of time in statements, never once talking on the topic of Jack and Lily or what had happened that day, how they were victimized in that circumstance. Just that you all have to believe them. And the more that the establishment can do to create the illusion, like put out a Amber Alert and do this and all of that, is all for show in any circumstance when you're the last person to see those children alive, asshole. All right? We don't need to talk in theories here. We don't need to talk in suspicion. You want to talk all around how you were the last two motherfuckers to see Jack and Lily alive. Well, let's delve into that a little bit in an interview, shall we?
There in April, she bought a car on her own. So if she wanted to leave, she could have left in April. She could have left any time she wanted. She knew me. She knew if she wanted to leave and Daniel put up a fuss, she knew that I would step in and make her go or let her go. I would not stop her from leaving.
You were going to step in and let her go. Think about those statements. You were going to step in. It sounds like you're trafficking Malaya, doesn't it? You were going to step in between Daniel and Malaya and whatever disagreement that they were having. You're going to step in and you're going to let Malaya leave on behalf of women everywhere. You were going to emancipate her. You're going to free her from her chains, her shackles. This is her just admitting to the type of controlling environment that was occurring around the house. She's acknowledging it, just in a way that's denying it. More like, if that ever happens again, I'll step in front of them and I'll let Malaya go, rather than have Daniel be accused time and time again of intimidating her, physically restraining her, and abusing her in an attempt to get her to stay, which probably also included all kinds of bullshit promises. You know, because it's not just the physical. It's not, oh, now you learned your lesson. There's all kinds of other nonsense that go along with that, aka lies, which are all around you out there at this homestead. Yeah, you can see it in NYC Boomer. Her hatred is real for Malaya and the kids. Absolutely. And the kids are just an extension. So it was okay around there to abuse Jack and Lily. You can say that. And they spent all of this time justifying their behavior because of their peace and quiet being interrupted. They're just tolerating the kids because of what? Why? Because you wanted that check coming in every month so you could skim off the top for rent.
Even though Daniel's my son, that's the time I would step in. So, people can't say that she didn't want to leave here because she was isolated, that she couldn't go anywhere. That's a bunch of bull crap. And she had the use of my vehicle too, whenever she wanted it.
So now you see the contempt that she has for Malaya and the actual issues that are shouldn't be even deniable, especially the fact that she left that day that she reported her kids missing. You didn't even want to acknowledge the realities around that. Anything that she says isn't worth listening to. It's nonsense. It's just plain crap. Because why? Because it makes you guys look just simply controlling. It looks like something that she said actually was true about you people. Do you see? The pattern of behavior is just denying everything in the circumstance. Everything. They're being victimized left, right, center, up, and down. And it's all of you and me out there for painting them in a suspicious light that's creating the current discomfort in their lives. So they would have you believe. So just like they don't want to be accountable for the behavior when Jack and Lily were around and the abuse that they suffered by the hands of this entire family, they're really doing the same sort of gaslighting and yelling to all of us and anybody listening to this right now in the same sort of manner. It's probably the same tone, the same dismissive attitude, the controlling manner, intimidation, bullying. That's why Malaya would have felt isolated out there. Because in spite of having all of these other people around in her life that are outside of her control, she's got nobody that's going to understand her problems and her need to get out there, aside from the times that she's got to use her phone and go call her Cindy or her mother. Daniel's too busy getting fucking high. Janie's too busy watching you in the trailer through the goddamn window of the RV, monitoring the situation.
So, if people think...
You can see it already that Malaya's complicity to all of this is probably going to be the key factor to the demise and whatever happened to Jack and Lily. Because it's the pattern of behavior, and you can see it in just how they're denying it, that this is, and the treatment of Malaya was just as bad. In fact, you don't know how to treat another human being. You have no compassion. You only know lies in defense of your own blatant, suspicious behavior. And your only attempt is to try to convince everybody that what it is that they're seeing isn't exactly what they think it is. No. It is. You don't need to tell us what it is and why it is that you're acting as suspicious as you are, in other words. Like the Wizard of Oz.
Think that she didn't want to live here because she was isolated, if that's what she's telling everybody, well, or if that's what you're hearing, that's a bunch of bull crap. And if she did want to leave, and I wasn't around to stop Daniel from letting her leave, there's always 911. There's always a way out. That I do not like what they have done.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just seen a comment there. I didn't see Malaya put the kids in the car. That's one thing I didn't see. And Cheryl is Malaya's best friend. She's the one that was on the beach with Malaya. I apologize. I thought the picture of Justin and Daniel on the bike was taken by a drone. But if Cheryl says it was taken by Malaya, she's probably right. I wasn't around when the picture was taken. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was her friend that asked about the picture. There's so many names. Like when I seen Cheryl and she said about the picture, I took it was Malaya's friend. I'm sorry. As I said, that's all I know. Oh, sorry. Yes. But I didn't know who took the picture. There was so many drones around here. I thought it was the guy that took the picture of the property that took that picture. That's all I know. I didn't know if it was Malaya or who took the picture. I can't be sure. I thought it was the drone. Look, there was so many people here that day. I don't know half of the people. I don't know most of the people that were here. I only know the people that were here from the community, and some of friends that I know were here. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was away most of the day with Justin on the four-wheeler.
Do you remember that TV show? Do you remember the TV show? It's an old Canadian TV show, and then Nickelodeon bought it, called You Can't Do That on Television. And they used to slime people. They used to dump green slime on top of you any time during the show that you said the words, "I don't know." That's what sticks out of my head when you listen to Janie speak. All kinds of I don't knows, I don't knows, I don't knows, I don't knows.
Him and I took off and we just went. So I couldn't tell you who was here, to be exact. If I ran into somebody I knew, I'd talk to them. If I didn't know, I said hi. So, like I said, Malaya called me on my phone.
Yeah, Daphne, you recognize it?
And I called her back, and she told me to get back here as soon as I could. I don't know what was discussed. between her and everybody else. I just know when I got back here, I went up and she was crying, I put my arms around her, and then Haley and I think it was Shelby, I said, I'm not sure, started accusations. I wasn't listening because I was so upset because I thought that she was calling me back to tell me that the kids were deceased. I said dead in my statement to the cops, but I'm sorry, I mean...
So here we have more volunteering of information by Janie. Oh, I thought they were going to call me back and tell me that they found the kids dead. Why would that ever be in your mind? Why would you be expecting at any point in time for them to be finding kids dead in the circumstance where they have to be just around here, douchebag, because 20 minutes ago you said you heard them. You heard them 20 minutes ago. They have to be around here somewhere.
Deceased. And then the next thing I know, all these cops, I think there was 5 cops.
Each and every one of these individuals spent the entire day avoiding having to answer or be around to give any sort of relevant information to the people who were there searching, or officers, under the guise of searching places just randomly as far away as they could, claiming that they're out searching in that circumstance. Janie and Justin spent the day touring around on the ATV. You guys were out on tour. Recreational time. These kids are missing, and first of all, you're supposed to be the one heading this search party. If all of those people are coming to your defense, the last thing you do is take off. You need to be leading people in an organized manner, in an organized fashion. There's an emergency here. But you guys spent the entire day boogieing around the back roads on your ATV, probably drinking, tweaking out. Daphne says, AB, listen, if she was so upset and worried about Malaya, or worried about Malaya's call, then WTF, she not answer when Malaya called her, the first time when she was in the woods, supposedly talking to her neighbor on her four-wheeler with her child? Yeah. She's all over the place. I wonder why that is. Like, she is in this. She is in the middle of all of the conspiracy to cover up any sort of wrongdoing around that household that night. It makes you think, like, that's the very least. That's the very least. And obstruction. It makes you think that she has to have something to do with direct knowledge, which would be something to do after the fact, after the kids are dead. They would get her with it too, especially to the degree that she's gone to cover things up and obstruct the process. These individuals think that they can just lie and lie and lie and it's going to go away. That's what we're observing. That's the frustration that we're experiencing. Okay? And they want to convince you it's because they're innocent in this sense. Oh, no. If it was a real inconvenience, go to the RCMP and tell them that you need your names cleared. Now, I wonder why they couldn't do that. I wonder why they can't do that. Wonder why they won't do that. For the same reason that Emanuel Harlo, his parents are going through the same sort of thing, or the exact same thing, only fast-tracked compared to you. There's going to come a time, Janie, where people are going to want to come out and stake out Pictou County, just awaiting the RCMP coming to slap the cuffs on you and Daniel and Justin, maybe even Earl too. Bobby Atwell, she's in this deeper than she thinks. Yeah, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder to what extent. We know that she doesn't give a good goddamn about Jack and Lily, or any child for that matter. But it's a little clearer now to know exactly what contributed to the psychopathy, potential psychopathy of Daniel, when you're raised by a lunatic fucking tick like Janie McKenzie.
Showed up and they took Malaya aside. Actually, Officer Mason took Malaya aside and talked to her. The other two people, I ordered them off the property, and an officer took me aside.
Yeah, you're right. We need to talk about Jaden's mom too, and her boyfriend. They look fucking guilty in their pictures. You can see it in their faces, the types of individuals that they were. In love with themselves, caught up, suffering from all of this fucking MK Ultra technology. Making duck faces in the selfies. Jaden Spicer's parents just were evil in that circumstance. Now, the evil comes along with the addictions that a lot of these parents are suffering. It seems recently, I don't know about Emanuel Harlo's, but there's something going on there. Like that dad, Jake, looks a little bit scared in my opinion. He knows what's going to come. But he's got a lawyer speaking for him. Even his lawyer, he must be a cheap lawyer. You could hire anybody just to get in front of a camera and throw out utter denials. You know what? You should hire Janie McKenzie, Jake Harrow. You hire Janie McKenzie. She is good at just talking forever about nothing in circles, all in effort to just utterly deny any sort of rationale that comes her way. You can't even engage with Janie in a conversation. Where's the question? Let me answer it directly. There's no back and forth. There's no conversation like there is with Belinda in the circumstance. She's too busy pretending that she's a caring grandmother. Janie's trying to pretend that she cares all about Jack and Lily. That takes up a lot of her time, believe it or not. You know, like something that that wouldn't ordinarily need to be done. Like she's really got to put on the fucking show. She's really got to put on an illusion. And even the best acting that she puts forth, it's still so obvious. Like she can't escape the disdain that she feels towards those children who are now missing. That's not the only thing, by the way. It's not the only thing. It's just one of the many of red flags. Oh, Jesus. There's got to be so much more that we don't know that's going to be so interesting. Not that they have, like a lot of the stuff that I'm speaking of are things that they don't have control of. Like there's information out there about them or that have left to be filled in. Like it has to do with their behavior and the sort of environment in which they live. Like I still think that there's something weird going on there on a sexual level in that sense between any one of them. But of course, I don't want to get too ahead of the curve with that one because you just seem weird then. Oh shit, Justin's wife has probably left him. He doesn't have a wife. What are you talking about? Justin's wife. Amanda Graham. I don't think Justin has a wife. You mean Janie? Justin's got a mom. He lives with his mom in her 35-foot RV. Dude, fucking homeless would be a step up from that. I'd be like, I'm going out to live in the woods. You got all those woods. Justin, you could grab a fucking axe and make yourself a shelter. It looks like it's in fashion around there. Why don't you just start cutting down some trees and just pile them up and make yourself something with like a 20-foot ceiling in it? And fucking live like that. Why are you living in this moldy, old, shitty RV from the 1970s with your mom and your mom's dog. What the fuck is going on? Silver gold guitars. Well, sometimes I think actually he's had a lawyer before. I think that's where this Jake Harrow's lawyer came from. He represented him with his other case. That his daughter, he did something violent to his daughter to cause brain damage. And I saw a video over at JLR's about her recovery and things like that. Oh my God, that was so heartbreaking. Yeah, Justin has a wife he doesn't live with. That he doesn't live in the RV. That's what you're talking about, Charmaine? They lived on the road. His wife is currently pregnant. They have other kids too. Justin has a wife. He doesn't live in the RV. He doesn't live in the RV? They lived on the road. His wife is currently pregnant. Oh, they live on the road as well. Is that the chick that they groomed with the devil's dandruff, I wonder? She's a drunken witch that gets no empathy for what has happened to Lily and Jack. No child should be allowed anywhere near any of them. Oh my God. Let alone Meadow now. But they want to go through, they have to go through the process to make it look a certain way. So expect it, right? Did the RCMP follow up on Wade saying Daniel made the math and pimped out Malaya? Who were his customers? Well, Anna Warren, I don't think anything, he didn't say anything about pimping out Malaya or selling. I think that was just talked about around here, but Wade was mentioning how he was distributing and manufacturing the old shake and bake. Who were his customers? Himself? Malaya? Maybe even Janie, by the way she's acting. He's probably the guinea pig. Oh, not on the road, down the road. Down the road that they live on? You have to put a little tag on at that house. I have to put a little tag at that house where he lives. On my Google Earth, do an update. Oh, Bobby, they probably know. I think so. It's hard to really... It's hard to know. It's hard to really know. Like, when they're approached in an emergency situation like that and presented things a certain way, they might just side with Daniel based off of what he's telling them and all of the information he's bullshitting them with. He's serenading them with lies, and they're just more likely to believe it because they're in his immediate, and he needs them to be believing this. And it's easy to believe Daniel when there's everything, like everything's not true that people come up with in this circumstance out here. And that's not really a problem because people aren't throwing shade or accusations they haven't needed to. These people are guilty as sin. Anybody can see that. And it's everything that the Martells, Mackenzies are saying being used against them. Questioned, scrutinized. Then ridiculed after the fact. Oh, hold on there, Charmaine. I'll throw my email in right here.
It got my statement, and after that I left and went and talked to Daniel.
I can't really say. I don't know. In my, he's probably the smartest one out of the bunch, Esther. Do I think Justin is not spoken because he may blow their stories? Yeah, you want to simplify at this point if you're a guilty party. You don't want to add any more confusion to the situation, especially when you've got Janie out here shooting from the hip. But it's not just Janie corroborating a story. Janie goes so far above and beyond that. It's almost like she's got the authorship to all of this in the first place. And no, it's not because her story resembles the truth. Her story does not resemble any part of any truth. None whatsoever, aside from the fact that she lives in that RV. But when it comes to the whereabouts of Jack and Lily, on one hand, she wants to, she needs you to believe her because she's the all-powerful around the house that knows everything at every point in time, except that small sliver and window of 20 minutes where Jack and Lily slipped out, supposedly, the gate. And nobody was acting as they should. The dog wasn't barking. Malaya wasn't calling. The kids weren't screaming. And that's how they got lost. Because of all of the things weren't doing what they're supposed to do. The fucking birds weren't chirping. It was like a total solar eclipse of the sun. Everything shut down, stopped. Warp in time. Kids fell into the goddamn hollow earth, never to be seen again. Bigfoot came out and gobbled them up, jumped in a pickup truck, drove down the road and into the clouds. The fact that they don't want to offer up any sort of reasonable explanation or detail into their actions of that day or the day before, and we have all this contrary circumstantial evidence conflicting and contradicting Daniel's story, especially the neighbor with all of the trips with the 5-speed. There'll be more. At some point, you think that the question is going to come up about, and it's going to be completely focused around all of everything else aside, that you people were the last ones to see Jack and Lily alive. And now they're not alive anymore. So detailing from the last time that they recognized or they were with Jack and Lily and their interactions with them would have been important, but they never ever want to detail any of that. It's because they're all busy doing their own thing, neglecting the kids because it was somebody else's problem, except for when the cops come calling. Then they want you to think that they were just the person doing all of the hard work when it comes to Jack and Lily's life. Two kids who were obviously abused, neglected, malnourished, and in a crisis. All in effort for in the moment, just to satisfy your minds, to shed that suspicion in that brief moment. It doesn't matter about an hour from now when you realize how contradictory or conflicting of a statement that is with something else that they just said as well. We're at that point over and over and over again. This is a person that's telling you that they would have protected these kids at all costs if they would have known that something was wrong in the house. Seems to me that they knew things were wrong for a long period in time, and they were trying to hide. Was it possibly their abuse and line of money? Maybe. I don't know what other kinds of things were going on in the household. Was she renting out that RV as some sort of pleasure palace, some sort of honeymoon suite type of thing there for drugs and sex? I don't know. In the backwoods of Nova Scotia. She was a madam. That's so nasty. That's so damn nasty. Why did my mind have to go there? I think, oh, you brought that up, didn't you? Oh my God. Don't even go there.
To see if he was okay, because apparently if you listen to Logan's TikTok or interviews on TikTok, she can explain more to you than what I know. So I know Daniel was upset, and I went to see him. That's when I left everything and everybody took off. I didn't know where anybody was going or what was going on in the whole kerfuffle or whatever you call it. So I went and talked to my boy to see if he was okay. After that, everybody just left. So I don't know what went on. See, the way I thought is anything else that happened here that day was not.
Yeah, you're right, NYC. Those children didn't have autism. They had trauma. Right.
Important to me. I want to stress that wasn't important to me. The only thing that I was thinking about that day was finding Jack and Lily. And I spent all day, except for when I came here and had a little bite to eat because my daughter-in-law brought some food, and I had a sandwich, and then she took the rest of the food into the trailer, and the ones that were...
You guys are really celebrating. She brought you over some food. Who the fuck could eat at a time like that when your kids are missing? That's the last thing that you need and want to do. Sounds like a celebration there.
Were in there, all her family ate all the food. Anything that anybody brought, they took it to the trailer and they ate it all. We didn't get anything. We had to defend for ourselves. As I said, it was like a family reunion. They were in there talking and laughing and going on. So...
What? It was like a family reunion. Everybody came in there talking and laughing and carrying on. Fun, happy times. Can you imagine?
And the only time that I went into the trailer is that time when I seen them all laughing and carrying on was to tell Malaya that Justin and I were going back out to look for the kids. And she said, do you want me to shut the chickens in? That's the only time that I set foot in that trailer all day. Except for when everybody left and the police officer...
Yeah, that's you out there trying to avoid any sort of explaining to do with anybody. You needed all these people to show up on your behalf just to stand there and represent. Nobody knew what the fuck they were there for because you hadn't told them yet.
Officers came and asked Daniel about the pink blanket. I was there when they went out to the garbage can and took the pink blanket out of the garbage. Other than that, after that was over, nobody else was around. Everybody left. And I just sat in the trailer, and some of my friends came and asked me how I was doing, and they were very supportive of me. And God love one of the girls that was there, one of the friends that was...
Why would they stop by and give you all kinds of support? What exactly do you mean by support? What a gaslighting old fucking bag.
There, I had a tick bite on me, and it was starting to get... This was on Saturday. I had a tick bite on me. God love her. She went to the pharmacist and got me pills because I wouldn't leave the property. I never left the property all the time those kids were missing. And after the search, I still don't leave the property. I may go to town maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. I stay here and tell reporters to get off my property because I don't want to talk to them. And I'm a homebody. I'm like...
That's what she does all day now, is just sits around and fends off all the reporters coming around asking her questions. And she's talking in a way that's all of the crap that she's saying to you is some sort of evidence as to why she's no longer a suspect or what makes her innocent of contributing to the downfall and the disappearance of Jack and Lily. She's toning it in that way. Why? It's such a tell. It's such a giveaway, Janie. You can't even hide your guilt. That emotion has excited her brain to a point where she sounds so aggro because she's that desperate for you guys to believe something.
Like a hermit. I don't go anywhere. And I was that way before this all started, before the disappearance of Jack and Lily started, and I'm still a hermit. Oh, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. On my interview, and I'll tell you now, on my interview about the sliding door, the lady that did the interview, her name is Allie, very nice lady. She was the one that opened the door. I asked her to do it for me so everybody wouldn't think that I was doing something to disrupt this investigation, or people saying, oh, she opened it up lightly, or she did this, or she did that. I got Allie to open the door twice. So, she was the...
Yeah, all in an effort so you could somehow deflect this back and put it onto Jack and Lily for getting themselves gone. Jack and Lily got themselves disappeared because the dogs didn't bark, Malaya didn't call, I didn't see something. It's so amazing for a bunch of people who didn't see anything, for them to know the exact reasons and points in time that were so crucial in order to recognize to prevent what? What is it you're expecting here? They don't ever want to tell you that. They don't even want to tell you what they're afraid happened to the victims in this circumstance. They want you to fill all that in and assume so that when you bring it up that they can just deny it because that's all they really have. In order for you idiots to be bringing up any relevant points, you would have had to otherwise identify it as a key point in time in your mind in some other fashion. Otherwise, it's just fabricated. For example, one just doesn't notice silence. You don't notice the silence unless just before that was a great amount of noise. There's no need for you to monitor all the silence throughout the day, or what you would consider as just mundane background noise.
The one that opened up the door.
Oh, and I also in my interview told them that if they want to come take up my driveway, or if they want to come lift my trailer, or lift the RV, or anything.
She's fucking crying, and she's got a big mouthful of like garbage food, like this huge mouthful of fucking food that she's so emotional over, and she's like, it's all falling out of her mouth. You know how disgusting that is?
Anything they wanted to do, they were more than welcome to come and do it. I have nothing to hide. The kids are not here on this property. But they did put a drone underneath the trailer. They had an army guy come in with this great big drone that they use, and they put it underneath the trailer, and I offered to go underneath the trailer with a flashlight to show them that Jack and Lily weren't under there, and they said no, that they could get under there with the drone. And I'm not here for you guys to feel sorry for me. I'm just here to tell the truth. You guys have your own opinion of me. I have nothing to say about that.
That's something that's repeated by liars all around. She's got to indicate to you that she does not care what it is that you think. She's just happy to have her perspective out there, in other words. The fact that she keeps indicating, going back to this point, would tell you that she does care what everybody thinks. That's why she's out here stating her side. She's planting the seeds. But it's much too late for that, Janie. It's much too late for you straightening anything out. This was a while ago. This isn't a new upload by any means.
I'm just here to tell the truth. I want Lily and Jack found, and that's all I want.
Can I clear something up about the four-wheeler? Justin and I were the ones driving on the four-wheeler, but we picked Daniel up around the pipeline. Justin and I went up around the pipeline, and we were going through an old road, and we seen Daniel, and Daniel got on the bike, and he sat on front of the bike until we get back to the pipeline, and we dropped him off with some of his friends, and then Justin and I took off back home. So Daniel was on the bike, sitting on the front of the bike, so there was me, Justin, and Daniel on the bike. He was sitting on the front of it. But Justin and I had the bike out all day. I'm fine. I just went through your comments to see if there's any questions you had to ask, and I just wanted to clear that up. I just want to say, Daniel has done so many interviews, and to tell you the truth, if I was in his place, I'd be so confused because people have been asking him so many questions, and it's just, I don't know how anybody that has been interviewed keep everything straight. I think a little things get twisted and everything, but you got to understand, we're all under a lot of pressure here. All this was put on us.
Retard alert! Retard alert, class! Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Or especially on Daniel, because Malaya's not opening her mouth. And Daniel's taking all the backlash for this. So if it was Malaya Malaya opened her mouth, just how much backlash she would get. So you got to cut Daniel a little slack here, guys. He did not use the ATV all the time of the search. It was me and Justin. And as I said, we picked Daniel up on an old road. We went up the pipeline, Justin and I did, and we picked Daniel up on an old road. So Daniel did not use the bike. The only time he was on the bike is when we picked him up on the road.
These guys were spending all that time avoiding any sort of what would otherwise be referred to as accountability in the moment, under the guise of desperately searching for a 4- and 6-year-old that were half clothed and out of their sight within a time frame of 20 minutes. Supposedly, so they say, so they claim in their report. Sure.
And believe me, it's my four-wheeler, and believe me, I don't let Daniel drive my four-wheeler, believe me. And yes, he is telling the truth. The bike did have a wiring problem because the mice got into it and chewed all the wiring off of it. So that's why it wasn't used neither until it got fixed. I've been looking at the comments, and if you guys have anything wrong, don't get mad at me, but I will correct you guys. If you go back at the
Oh, don't get mad. Don't get mad. You haven't been telling anybody anything.
Screenshots that Malaya sent Belinda, you will find the time of when Malaya told Belinda what time.
Dorothy Campbell in my chat is saying, all this talking, does she expect pity? In your opinion, she was trying to get the respect Belinda's receiving. Well, she feels entitled to that. Yeah, that's been brought up before. You got a good point, Dorothy. She's entitled to receive the sort of respect that Belinda has received from their perspectives. That's what they were going for. That's what they're expecting. So that's what they need to tell you that you should be doing and how that you should be treating them. That's their concern. They refuse to see the reality of the situation at hand publicly. All in an attempt, a feeble attempt, to make it look like they don't know anything in this circumstance. Usually when you question somebody's story, they can go into greater detail about whatever detail that they're talking about, but not these individuals. They reiterate the same information over and over again as though there's nothing else. There's nothing else that could have possibly occurred in that moment other than her doing what it is that she says that she's doing. Bobby Atwell, everyone has heard her lies before, right? Roger that. She's not entitled to shite. Respect is earned. Janie has not earned any. Probably because they're the last group of people to see Jack and Lily alive, and they want us to think that they have nothing to do with it. If you have nothing to do with it, it should be obvious that you have nothing to do with it. You don't demand people believe you based off of just what it is that you say, especially in a circumstance like this. Fuck, if there was just one little iota of question around you guys not being guilty, people would latch on to that. And there is absolutely no chance of you guys being innocent in this fucking circumstance. Zero chance. It couldn't get any lower. Janie, it couldn't get any lower of a chance of you guys not having something to do with the kids gone missing. Layla, generally it's not good to live with the in-laws. Yeah, she feels entitled. She's providing them housing and help, allegedly. It's an unhealthy situation, especially when this old bat is constantly around you telling you how much help that they're giving you at any one point in time. Servitude. You're not treating Janie with the respect that she's needing because of the level of assistance that she's providing to you guys at this point in time, and your children. You guys are ungrateful pieces of shit, undeserving of a great person like Janie's love.
She called the 911. It's all in her messages to Belinda. No, Daniel did not drive the ATV. I told you it was Justin and I that were out on the bike all day. We picked Daniel up on the pipeline on an old road. We went up, Justin and I went up the pipeline and we went off on an old road and we found Daniel there. We picked Daniel up. Daniel was sitting on the front of the bike. So there was Justin, me, and Daniel on the bike, and we drove Daniel back to his friends that were on the pipeline, and Justin and I came back home. Well, if you know what a four-wheeler is, it's only big enough for two people. Justin was driving, I was sitting on the back, so we made Daniel sit on the front because there was no room for him to sit on the back with me. Okay, I already answered this question. My brother.
It's interesting that she brings up how much space there is on this ATV with a full-size man on the front and a full-size man on the back. when we're currently searching for 2 pint-sized little children. It's really just an admission that here you could have used this particular ATV to go and dispose and stage a scene. You would have had no problem with it. In fact, you probably did do it. But you guys are getting yourself and your DNA all over the key piece of evidence that would have been around police the entire day. They would have noticed how clean it was. They would have noticed maybe certain things and picked up on some sort of location evidence where your actual dump site is. But you guys go out and get it purposely dirty afterwards and put your DNA all over it, Justin's, Daniel's, your mom's, all in one spot to really fuck up and confuse the evidence of this crime scene. That's what all of this is, just an extended crime scene. Just happened to be searching for the kids that you guys murdered.
Mother called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town. I said no, I was going back to bed. So I laid back down. I was playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I'm not sure what exactly time. I didn't look at the clock. My dog woke me up. I heard the kids outside. And then I dozed back off again. And the next thing you know, I heard Daniel hollering Jackie Lily's name. Then about maybe 5-10 minutes after I heard him, I'm not sure exact what time because I didn't look at the clock. And when I opened the door, Malaya was standing there in front of the RV, and I said, "What's up?" And she said, "The kids are missing. The kids, Lily and Jack, are gone." And I said, "How long?" She said, "About 20 minutes. I don't know what time I seen Malaya outside because I didn't look at the clock. I came in, I grabbed my boots, and headed up to the woods. So I gave you guys a timeline. 8:48 is when he called me. I dozed off. I don't know exactly what time I heard the kids.
So really, it's just an opportunity for her to take up all of this space in our heads and replace it for what really happened with step by step where she was and why it's important. None of this is really fucking important because you could sum it up all in this one sentence. Okay, she's taking like one sentence, highlighting, pointing out the parts of the timeline in this small statement where she only heard the kids doing something and playing outside. She never saw them. Big difference. And she wants to avoid answering or speaking about anything around that. It's just her opportunity to present her story a certain way, and that's it. You can think anything you want about it. And in reality, she just took that entire opportunity and squandered it. That should tell you how guilty she fucking is. Never mind any of the words that she says. The vagueness of it, the obvious deflection. She obviously doesn't want to talk about it in a certain way. And the only reason for that is guilty knowledge. The only reason in a circumstance like this is because this fucker has something to do with it. Absolutely. It appears that they dressed the kids nicely for pictures, appearances to hide the neglectful lives they had, Boomer. Well, they probably only got some attention from their mother in circumstances like that. It's interesting how these psychos at this point want to really get in front of it, and they can't wait to volunteer how much work that they put into these kids and how fantastic of a father Daniel was. Daniel's never a father. You were barely even with Malaya. You're in some sort of open relationship and you got her knocked up because she's hooked on your shake and bake. And you moved her in to defile her body at your own pleasure. And it showed. There's no possible way that you could have a normal relationship with a girl in this circumstance. Degenerate. No, McKenna, she lives in this trailer. Janie doesn't have this other fucking house. You're still... Listen, Janie lives in that little trailer. That's not hard to imagine. Anyway, it's 2.5 hours, friends. I'm going to cut this short. Thank you very much for joining. We're going to go have some food this afternoon. We'll be back a little bit later on to keep the conversations going. We're going to talk a little bit about Emanuel Harlo tonight and what's occurring in that circumstance. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll continue to monitor for developments.